Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday. And in today's video, we'll be see how to build an RAG-based chatbot using Groq API, LangChain, and Streamlit vector store. Okay, so before we get into our RAG feature and RAG concept, let us complete this four step. And this four step will help us to understand how to build a Streamlit chat UI and how to invoke an LLM into our interface and how to interact with it and how to how to use an LLM properly. Then we'll be getting into this rack feature thing. Okay, and if you know this thing, then you can easily fast forward things a bit for the rack based concept. All right, so so the first point comes up to the we need to get a virtual environment. That is the best practice while in be creating any kind of project where you need to install multiple packages. So it's the best option to create a virtual environment. Okay, and you can create this using ppnv, conda, uv, anything you want, but I generally use python like vnv because this is the this is the most general thing everyone can have. Everyone literally has this thing. Okay, so first command you need to give is this python -m venv mynv. This will create an mynv environment. Then you need to run this command mynv/script/activate, and this is for Windows. Okay, and for Mac OS, just figure out from the internet. Okay, because I don't use Mac OS. Then we need to install our requirements. So I'll be sharing this code into the GitHub and I'll be giving you the link. So from here you can get this requirement.txt. Here we have Streamlit, LangChain Groq, LangChain Community, PyPDF, Sentence Transformers, and Python.env to handle .env files to get our API key. Okay, so you simply need to run this command pip install -r requirements.txt. After that you will be ready to work with the project. Okay, now I have already done that because it takes some lot of time. So I've already done this part so that I can create the video properly. So let's get into this chatui.py. Okay, all right, so here we'll be creating our chat UI. So first let's understand how we can do that. So first we need to import our streamlit as ht. Okay, then let us give a title. Chat UI. Okay, then after that we need to have a prompt, and here we'll write chat input, right? Enter a message. Okay, now if prompt is there, we'll show our chat using this chat message, and I'll be showing that this is from the user perspective, and I'll simply use this markdown and I'll pass my prompt. Okay, after this user I should get a response, so I'll store this response into this response, and here I'll write key, let's say hi. Sorry, chatting. I need to give it double string. All right, now I'll simply use ht dot again chat message, and here I'll pass assistant, and I'll simply mark down my response. Okay, I'll save it, and then I'll run this. So to run this, our command is streamlit run. Our file name is chatui.py. So let us run this, and here you could see we have our interface. So let us write something. Hello. Here you could see we have the response. Now if we write again hello again, here you could see that our second prompt kind of overwriting our first prompt, but we cannot have this into our RAG chatbot project because we might need to see that what we have asked our chatbot previously, right? So for that we'll be using Streamlit session feature. So for that, after this title, I'll be, let's say, set up a session to hold all messages or convos. Okay, now messages and not in ht dot session state, ht dot session state dot hp0. So I'll be initializing my session state dot message with an empty array. Now here I'll be storing all my old messages. Okay, now display all old messages, right? Now for message in dot session state dot messages, right? It will be messages, and here ht dot chat message, I'll pass message of role because we have an user and we have an assistant. Then we'll also use the markdown show key message class content. Okay, this is how we'll be displaying that. Then we have our enter a message, and now here I need to pass that too. So here, after I'll be giving my first prompt, I need to store those prompts. So store the user prompts. Okay, now ht dot session state dot messages simple will be simply use this append function, and here we'll pass this role would be user user, this one will be here user, and content would be, sorry, this will be my prompt. I can't use quotation here. Okay, so prompt, right? Now I have stored my user prompt. Now I'll be having my response. I'll be showing the response, but I also need to store my responses as well. So I'll simply copy this and I'll paste it over here. Session state messages dot append, but here it will be assistant, and here it will be response. All right, I'll save it. It says we have changed our source file. We'll be running this again. Here, let's say hello again. We get our new one. All right, now for some good practices, I generally use some warnings and logging packages so that in further, whenever I'll be having some simple warnings or some simple bugs, it shouldn't block my application to run, right? So this is the best practice to use this warning and logging packages. So let me show you that. So we'll import warnings and we'll import logging. Okay, now why we need that? We need that to kind of disable warning disable warning, sorry spelling, disable warning, and some info, bugs log. Okay, how we can do that? Simply warnings dot, I'll be using this filter warnings, and I'll simply write this ignore. Okay, and for the logging dot, this one get logger, I'll be talking to my transformers, set the level as logging dot error. Alright, so this is done. We are done with our chat UI. It's pretty much done. Okay, so now as you could see, in our next part we will be invoking an LLM from Groq API. Okay, so now let's do it. So let me open my another browser. Here I'll route Groq Cloud, get to Groq Cloud. Okay, I've already logged in, so let's get to this API keys. So here I've already have this API key. Okay, so you can create another one, and here we have this playground thing where you can test all these multiple LLMs. Okay, and these API keys are pretty much free, so you don't need to worry about those payment. Okay, but of course it has some usage, so that's it. So you can create another API key from here. I am creating that, I already have one. Okay, so I'll be just crossing this. So in this .env file I have this Groq API key. Okay, so alright, so now we'll write this code to invoke our LLM. So now we'll be invoking our LLM and we'll build a conversational chat interface, right? So what I'll be doing, I'll be copying this whole thing and I'll paste this over here. Okay, now I'll do some changes, I'll import some more packages, right? So what should we do? Okay, yeah, so the first thing we need to import, after that, okay, I'll be doing it. So first let me connect this. Okay, so let us import OS, and let us import this form .env. I'll be invoke load.env, then from LangChain Groq. Okay, I'll input what? Of course chat Groq. Then from LangChain core, I'll LangChain core dot, output parsers. I'll import parser to convert our string to our parsing. Okay, now from LangChain core dot prompts, we'll simply import our chat prompt template, this one. Okay, now as we have this, we need to load API from .env, right? So for that we'll call our load.env function. Okay, all right, so we have loaded our API, we have this warning thing, then we have this chat UI, we have our message, we have our display, all this thing is right. Okay, now our changes will be in this if part. Okay, So after this user we have this session state. Now we have this response, but now I'll be making this response dynamic, right? So I'll cut this, and here I'll write key Groq system prompt. Okay, I'll simply call my chat prompt template, and I'll use key from template. From this template I need to give my Groq LLM some system prompt that how it should work. Okay, it should be an 3 quotation string. Alright, so now let me write something over here. So let's say let's give some arbitrary prompt, right? You are very sorry. And user prompt, simple. Okay, all right, this AI should be in caps. Okay, so my system prompt is done. Now I need to wait a minute, this should be in the indentation. Okay, now I should call my model. So call the model. So simply into a model variable I'll store this. So the model that I'll be using, this is Llama3 -8B 8.92. Be careful with the model, okay? And you can try anything else as per you wish. Now in my Groq chat, I'll call this chat Groq function, and here I'll call the API key. Okay, so chat Groq, first I need to provide Groq API key os dot environ dot get, and here I'll write Groq API key. Okay, so I'm passing my API key from my .env file. Now also I need to pass my model name. So model name is my model where I have stored my model parameter. Is there any error I'm having? Chat Groq. Acha, yeah, there should be a comma. Okay, so now it's done. Now I need to create this LangChain. So this chain will consist my system prompt. The system prompt will also consist my Groq chat, and finally is a string out parser. String out parser function. Okay. So my chain is ready. Now I'll be having my response over here. In a response, I'll simply use this invoke chain.invoke, and here I'll use the user prompt. Okay, I'll pass the user's prompt over here. Alright, and now after that we have this chat math assistant. We are appending this thing in our conversation history. So this the rest will be same. Okay, so now let me save this file and we'll run this. So Streamlit run invoke LLM.py. So Streamlit run invoke LLM.py. Let me run this, and here we go. Alright, so let us run something. So hello, thank you for your kind word, and to all this kind of thing. Okay, let me chill this chat UI as we have sent key. We are making chat. So chatty. Okay, I'll just refresh this again. Chatty. I'm designed to provide all this kind of thing. Okay. Now you can see, now it's all about the system prompt. If I could have changed this system prompt a different way, then the answer could have been different. So let's say you are a very good AI assistant as named Chatty. Okay, so you could see that the output would be a bit of different. So let me run this again. Hi, hello there, I'm Chatty, your friendly assistant. I'm thrilled to be working with you, all this kind of thing. Okay, all right. So we are done with our 1, 2, 3, 4 part. Now we'll be working with this RAG model. Okay, all right. Now we'll be creating a simple RAG model with our Groq API and our Streamlit vector store. Okay, so before that, let me show you a bit the working of this RAG thing. Okay, so how this RAG work? It's like the simply works that let's say me being a user, I'm giving a question to the chatbot. Okay, then that chatbot will get into this model and it will get embedded into some vector. Okay, now previously, as we have uploaded our resource document into our RAG chatbot, it has converted those information into an embedded vectors. So now that previously stored information vector and my given user prompt vector will get mapped. Okay, there we have some mathematical algorithm will be running, so that after that will be retrieve some document, will be retrieved some embedded chunk. Okay, then that LLM will be using its context to give us some proper answer. So this is the underlying working of this RAG based chatbot, and the main use case of this thing is pretty simple. Like let's see, most of the LLMs are not up to date, right? So if I ask a LLM ki, hey, who won 2025 Champions Trophy or any kind of football tournament or any kind of recent sports tournament, it won't be giving me the answer because its training has been done maybe a year ago. Okay, but if I input some resource to it, from there it can easily retrieve the information and it can give me the answer. Okay, so that's the requirement of this RAG based thing, chatbot. Okay, so now let us create the chatbot. So I'll cross this, I'll cross this, I'll cross this. We'll be having this one, Groq RAG chatbot. Okay, so I'll be doing simply again copy this and I'll come here and I'll paste it over here. Okay, then we'll modify this code again. Okay, so the first thing that we need to modify, that we need to import some more packages. Like we need to import our embedding packages, we need to import our document loaders, our vector stores, our chain, our text splitter, all those kind of things. Okay, so from, let's say, LangChain dot embeddings, we'll import this HuggingFace hub embeddings, not HuggingFace hub embedding, actually it will be HuggingFace embeddings. Okay, then from LangChain dot, it will be dot text splitter, will import recursive character text splitter. Okay, then again from LangChain dot document loaders, will import PDF loader. Okay, sorry, then again from LangChain dot indexes, we'll import our Streamlit vector store index creator. Okay, and as of this video we are not using any files or ChromaDB or any PineConeDB, but in future we'll, of course, we'll be using, and in our previous 2 videos we have used ChromaDB and files that you might check out. Okay, then again from LangChain dot chains I need to import my retrieval question answer package. Okay, now we have all the requirement that we need. We have loaded our .env file. We have this thing to make sure of warning and logging. Our title, display historical messages. Now here, let me create my vector store. Okay, so vector store. Now I'll use this function def get vector store. Okay, and here first I'll be passing my PDF. Okay, so PDF file, I'll be giving this letter, but let me give this. So I'll be using this one. So rename, copy, just paste it over here. .pdf. This is a cover list taken a second of research paper. Alright, so my PDF is uploaded. Now for animation I'll be using this loaders py-pdf loader. What I'll be loading? I'll be loading this PDF file. Okay, now after loading our PDF file I need to create some chunk. I need to like chunk means this embeddings, right? Embeddings. Okay, all right, so now let me do this. So now our index will be using this vector store index creator. Here I'll pass some parameter. First parameter will be my embedding. I'll call my HuggingFace embeddings over here, and I'll simply pass the model. Like here I need to pass the embedding model name, which will be all mini LM. Be careful with the word 1L12 V2. Okay, now I need to have my text splitter. So text splitter, again call recursive character text splitter, and I need to provide my chunk size, like in how many chunk I'll be dividing my provided document. Okay, so chunk size would be, let's say, 1000 as of now, not too much. And I also need to provide chunk overlap. Let's say let me give it 200. Okay, now here I'll simply from loaders I'll pass my loaders. Okay, it will be like this. Is there any error? Okay, there will be a comma. No, there is still an error. No, there is not. Okay, now after that I'll simply need to return the index vector. So index dot vector store. Okay, so my thing is done. Now we have our prompt, then we have our user prompt, our markdown, we have our Groq system prompt, Groq model, API chain, everything is there, everything is good. But we need to call my vector store over here, right? So after this Groq chat. Here I'll use this try catch, try, and except would be exception as E. Okay, here I'll simply just use this. Okay, and I'll copy the whole thing from here. I'll cut this and I'll put it under this try block. Okay, so I have my chain, everything is there. Okay, so let me fix the indentation first. Okay, now let me write this. So first let me call my vector store. So vector store, get vector store, right? Get vector store. Okay, now if in my vector store is empty, vector store is none, I'll be simply doing this error that unable to load document. Okay, then in my chain, I don't need this chain anymore like this. Now in my chain I'll be calling this retrieval QA function. Okay, alright, so retrieval QA, and after that I'll be use this from chain type, and here I need to pass some parameters. So here I'll pass the LLM. So in LLM it will be Groq chart, right? Groq chart. Then the chain type, generally we use stuff, and then for the retriever, here we'll be calling our vector store dot as retriever. Okay, we'll call search quarks, and here I need to give key how many chunk I need to be created. Okay, so for this one I'll be creating 3 similar chunk. Okay, like after it will check my user prompt, it will collect the 3 most relevant chunk. Okay, then simply, okay, not under this, then I'll simply need to return this one. Okay, I'll be returning not under this one. So return source document should be true. Okay, all right, now we have this. Now in our result we need to store our response. So chain, here I need to pass my query will be under quotation query, and the query will be user prompt, right? And then I need to store that into my response. So response result, and that's it. Okay, and after that this result, then I don't need this one. I don't need this one. So ht dot add message assistant markdown response, and then I'll append this into my content. Okay, so I can easily emit this, so it should work. Let us save this and let us run one. Okay, so Streamlit run Groq rag chatbot.py, Groq rag chatbot.py. Let me run this, and we have here. Okay, so here we have. Okay, I think I have parsed the PDF over here properly. Okay, so now let me just, what I'll be doing, I'll be, let's say this, hello, how are you? Let's see if it's working. Hello, how are you? Alright, so I have done one mistake over here. Okay, that I should have stored this vector embedding in our Streamlit cache. Okay, so let me do that first. So ht dot cache resource. So okay, so it will help us key every time that we will be providing our prompt, our model won't be creating that embedding again and again. Okay, so after creating that embedding, it should store that into our cache. Okay, now I'll save it, wait for it to get stopped. Okay, now let me check again if I have any error or not. Everything should be fine over here. Okay, let me now run this. Okay, Streamlit run Groq API. Okay, okay, so we have this LangChain.change retrieval QA has no attribute. Exactly, this is not the package name. This would be retrieval QA. So retrieval, wait, retrieval QA. Okay, now let me copy this one, let me paste it over here. Okay, and should be from chain type, so dot from chain type. Let me save this and let me just rerun this again. Okay, we're still having some error over here. Okay, so here we have, man, it should be at the rate. So sorry. Streamlit Groq. Okay. So let me run how are you, and it is running that vector store. And okay, so it's saying that I'm just an AI, I don't have any emotional physical system, because it is only having the context of my steganography. So now if I ask it a precise question, so let's say what is steganography, it would give me the answer based on the context. You could see that according to the provided context, coverless steganography is a method of hiding secret information without modifying the cover image. Okay, so this is how you can create this chatbot using this rag method, and We have also created 2 RAG chatbot previously using 5 similarity search and Chroma DB. Okay, and this is our third project on RAG. And in our next video we'll be creating this modular RAG chatbot with the production ready so that we can deploy that RAG chatbot. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching.